Hello and welcome to ArcanaDrive. My name is Arcana, but I won't be your driver this evening because I don't have my license. In 2025, you have undoubtedly seen the phrase, "I am cringe, but I am free," said by people who unashamedly indulge in their interests. Be it Undertale, self-shipping, furries, toonies, scene kids, or gay people in general, let's be honest. In theory, this phrase seems very forward-thinking, the inner acceptance of one's cringe traits and indulgences, and the freedom it inspires within a person to accept these. I'm sure we've all had a phase of rejecting something close to us in order to appease someone. It might be our friend who went, "Oh!" when we said our favourite show was an anime, or perhaps the larger internet sphere has just deemed something you just dedicated your entire profile to as mid. It happens every season. Either way, we've all held back something because we feared someone else's opinion on it. As such, the idea that we can accept these things as true parts of ourselves and in public is freeing, undeniably so. Someone who would be, in theory, bound by the shackles of the opinions of internet strangers now proudly stands on the hill of their true interests. They admit they have features or interests that may be considered cringe by the wider internet sphere, but they proudly enjoy them anyways. They are cringe, but in accepting rather than refusing these aspects, they free themselves from the restrictions of other people's opinions. With that in mind, why do I have a problem with the phrase, "I am cringe but I am free"? Surely I, lover of things cringe and enjoyer of earnest self-expression, would be this phrase's biggest supporter? And for a period of time, I was. I am all for the idea of earnestly enjoying your interests and being authentic to yourself, so the phrase hit home with me. Regardless of how other people deem it, you should enjoy what you enjoy. The only opinion that should matter, barring fringe cases of course, when it comes to a given media is how you feel about it. All that said, there is one key reason I dislike the phrase despite agreeing wholeheartedly with its message. That reason is simple. "I am cringe but I am free" acknowledges the existence of cringe. In a way, this undermines the sentiment. One cannot truly be free in a world in which the shackling concept exists and still shackles. Yes, one can have interpersonal freedom by electing to ignore the concept, but ultimately one man's freedom is on the back of another man's imprisonment. To be truly free of cringe, the concept itself needs to be eradicated. Look, I get it. When someone slips in the middle of an ice skating performance live on telly, you jump back in your seat in shock horror. In a rom-com when the guy proposes at the horribly offending time, it's really hard to watch. Final Destination movies are cringe-inducing with their accidents. The reaction of physically cringing is literally just a physiological expression of that secondhand embarrassment, or even pity. It isn't on the table to simply erase that. In the age of the modern internet, cringe has its own meaning. It's not just a response, it is its own form of content. Originally it meant a collection of videos that led you to feel that secondhand embarrassment, and then it became synonymous with videos of overweight people who don't hate themselves. This is worse than beating your children, I guess. Furries, or boomers who are a touch too horny on TikTok. Realistically, cringe is a code word for anything I and or my goons deem bad for some often interpersonal and subjective reason. I mean, cringe even back then did have roots in making fun of innocent people. There are endless remnants of brony cringe compilations from the early mid-2010s. It isn't a shock that videos that became popularized by being hard to watch due to secondhand embarrassment eventually morphed into videos where the sole purpose is, let's make fun of groups of people we have prejudice against. But there is a line that can be drawn from earlier cringe comps to current ones. With that in mind, the notion of cringe nowadays is really applicable to anything mildly disagreeable against this notion of cool guy the internet has. We're in an IDGAF era where irony has taken a place of earnest and genuine self-expression. Realistically, if you post online with any degree of true honesty, that is cringe. It's no wonder fandom spaces are commonly regarded as cringe due to the fact that they tend to house people genuinely just enjoying the given thing they are fans of. To be cringe and to be free is powerful. It's sticking it to the man that is irony. We need more than that. We need to kill the man. Ethel Cain came up with a beautiful term, the irony epidemic, wherein the problem with online culture is that everyone is afraid of being earnest. I think this stemmed from the cringe compilation culture. I get it, there is a level of, oh honey no, don't sing in front of your year 11 maths group, that does perhaps warn against loving something too much, but for some reason there has been a slippery slope in effect here. We started at, maybe enjoy things in the right spaces, and have ended up at, if anyone knows you enjoy a thing, that is cringe. And it has led to people being hyper-vigilant about protecting whether or not they actually enjoy something. Have you ever seen an artist who doesn't speak English tearfully asking why everyone is being mean to them? In instances like this, an artist has posted a good piece of art, but has been met with comments such as, "Ew, I hate it! It's so gross! Oh my god, I want to kill them!" or other rather inflammatory replies. And the poor artist doesn't know that "I want to squeeze him to death" is a term of ironic endearment. Look, I do get it. Even I do it. It is a bit funny to say some level of obscene violence in response to feeling good. And hell, even I said, "Ew, it's so cute" when I got some merch of my Oshi. But there is an undeniable difference between jokingly expressing that in the comfort of friends versus replying with awful violence to an artist you've never met. Everyone online is trying to be cool, and their idea of cool is based on out-of-context Sasuke screenshots, from which everyone has derived the point that being uncaring and edgy makes them cool. And for some reason, the majority of people, especially online, seem to have joined in on this trend. No one wants to be earnest online because no one knows where the line is drawn, and no one wants to be that guy who likes blank too much and end up on a Fandom Struggles Twitter page. The problem is that without knowing where the line is drawn, people don't want to do anything that might get them even on the track. As such, a lot of personal expression and appreciation is held back in fear of being the one that crosses it, creating this fear of winning the IDGAF war. The end result? An online culture that fears honesty and can only express things ironically. There is this desire to appear nonchalant and uncaring, unfazed by the world and the happenings in it. Young people want to appear like there is nothing that can get under their skin, be it personal to their own lives or not. Trying to be nonchalant, but she hasn't texted me back in an hour, is a little bit funny, I get it. But what's wrong with caring about talking to someone? Sure, an hour isn't much, but it's perfectly alright to want a connection with someone that involves them prioritizing talking to you. The fandom stuff might not be important, fine, write it off with irony, but are our interpersonal connections not even safe from having to be caged into the idea of being cool? Suffice to say, I don't like the irony epidemic. I like irony, I'm British. All our humour is sarcastic and dry, and I'm Scottish. The first thing I tend to say when I see a friend is an insult, but even I have limits. Even if I wanted to be emotionally strangulated, and I don't think that should apply en masse to others, especially children online. What I like most about the internet is that you can be who you want, what you want. If you want to post pretending to be a robot from the far future, you can. Who is to judge you? If you want to post that you shoplift from Target, I mean, it's a lot harder to nowadays, but by all means you can do that. If you want to post about your Oshi at a rate and level that is frankly mildly concerning, do not look at my Twitter. You can! The fun of the internet is that it is unbound by the fact people's real lives are tied to it. Online, you can be that cute anime girl, even if you're a salaryman by day. That's the fun of the internet. You should be free. As such, the irony epidemic that cages us is against my principal enjoyment of the internet in the very first place. So, what can we do? As I've said, being cringe and free is a step in the right direction, but that's the liberal way of doing it. I want a cringe revolution. To circle back to my original point, the designation of some things can be cringe is a part of the problem for me. If something can be cringe, anything can be cringe. It's fine to enjoy anything you want as long as it's not harming you or anyone else, and it's fine to enjoy it in any way. Moving through others' disapproval and judgments and striving for what makes you as an individual happy and comfortable is the essence of being cringe but free. You only get one chance at living this whole life thing. Why would you bother feeling bad about the things that make it worth living in the first place? Learn to dance to your favorite songs, even if it's unanimously considered to be one of the worst musical numbers ever produced. Make yourself stick out like a sore thumb by taking a picture of that cool rock you saw when you walk home. Post your strange ideas and visions as art, even if they're too abstract or just downright nonsensical for anyone except you to understand. In order to truly be free from the cringe, we need to abolish it as a whole. No more cringe comps, no more self-defense irony, no more hiding our interests. By doing so, we can create a world where self-expression, and by extension, self-acceptance, is the norm, not the labor. You are not cringe. You are simply free.